President Duterte has signed Executive Order Number 174 entitled Establishing the Expanded Career Progression System for Public School Teachers. Section 1 states that the Expanded Career Progression System for Public School Teachers is hereby established to promote professional development and career advancement among public school teachers and define the career lines of teachers within the public school system, specifically in the elementary and secondary levels, including the senior high school. The system shall complement other career pathways for professional teachers outside the public basic education school system, as may be defined by the Professional Regulation Commission or PRC, and provide for equivalence in duties, recognition, and compensation for teachers choosing a career line. Section 2 states that the classes in the classroom teaching career line shall be as follows: Master Teacher 1, Master Teacher 2, Master Teacher 3, Master Teacher 4, and Master Teacher 5. Advancement to the Master Teacher 1 position shall require the attainment of the minimum qualifications prescribed for the position as defined by the Civil Service Commission and meeting the teaching proficiency level equivalent to Career Stage 3 or highly proficient of the Philippine Professional Standards for teachers. Section 3 states that the classes in the school administration career line shall be as follows: School Principal 1, School Principal 2, School Principal 3, and School Principal 4. The advancement to School Principals 1 shall require the attainment of the minimum qualifications prescribed for the position as defined by the Civil Service Commission, meeting the desired proficiency level for school head as defined in the Philippine Professional Standards for school heads, and passing the school head assessment, which shall be conducted for the purpose and administered by the Department of Education. In line with this, the incumbents of the following positions may be promoted or reclassified for the above-mentioned school principal positions: Assistant School Principal 1, Assistant School Principal 2, and Assistant School Principal 3, who shall be provided with professional development interventions to equip them with the necessary competencies to be full-fledged principals, and shall be given priority in the promotion or reclassification to school principal positions, subject to existing laws, policies, and regulations, and the guidelines to be formulated pursuant to this order. Or Master Teacher 1, who are aspiring for a career in school administration, shall be classified upon promotion with the school administration group. The equivalence of positions. The positions in the classroom teaching career line shall be equivalent to the school administration career line as follows: Master Teacher 2 is equivalent to School Principal 1. Master Teacher 3 is for School Principal 2. Master Teacher 4 is for School Principal 3. And Master Teacher 5 is equivalent to School Principal 4. Upon approval of this order, the DBM shall create the new position titles of Teacher 4, Teacher 5, Teacher 6, Teacher 7, and Master Teacher 5, and include the same in the Index of Occupational Services, occupational groups, classes, and salary grades. The positions of Teacher 1 to 7 shall form the base of the career system. Upon achieving the qualifications and proficiency level required for Master Teacher 1, under Section 2 hereof, a teacher may choose to pursue the classroom teaching career line or the school administration career line. For this purpose, the CSC, DepEd, and PRC shall harmonize the qualification standards for teaching positions in the public school system, specifically in the elementary and secondary levels, including senior high school. A teacher pursuing a promotion for Master Teacher 2 shall continue upwards in the classroom teaching career line, while a teacher opening a career as School Principal 1 shall continue upwards in the school administration career line. The switching from one career line to another shall be allowed, provided that the individual possesses all the necessary qualifications and expected competencies for the other career line. Both master teachers and school principals may be considered for promotion to the next higher positions in the service. This order shall take effect immediately after publication in the official gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation, signed on the 23rd day of June in the year of our Lord 2022 by the President, Salvador C. Medellade, Executive Secretary, signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Now, what happens to other teaching positions? With the current item as Teacher 1 with salary grade 11, it will be remain as Teacher 1. The same is true with Teacher 2. With salary grade 12, it will be renamed or retitled and remain as Teacher 2. Now for Special Science Teacher 1 and Teacher 3 with salary grade 13, it will be retitled as Teacher 3. Head Teacher 1 and Special Education Teacher 1 with salary grade 14 will be retitled as Teacher 4. Head Teacher 2 and Special Education Teacher 2 will be retitled as Teacher 5 with salary grade 15. Head Teacher 3 and Special Education Teacher 3 will be retitled as Teacher 6 with salary grade 16. Head Teacher 4 and Special Education Teacher 4 with salary grade 17 will be retitled as Teacher 7. Head Teacher 5 and Special Education Teacher 5 with salary grade 18 will be retitled as Master Teacher 1. Head Teacher 6 with salary grade 19 will be retitled as Master Teacher 2, and Master Teacher 3 with salary grade 20, Master Teacher 4 with salary grade 21, and Master Teacher 5 with salary grade 22. Now here is the choice of career paths for teacher. From Teacher 1, you can be Teacher 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then become Master Teacher 1. Master Teacher 1 can choose if he or she will remain in the teaching path or in the administrative path. If he chooses to be in the teaching path, he or she can be Master Teacher 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or if he chooses in the administration path or administrative path, he or she can be School Principal 1, School Principal 2, School Principal 3, or School Principal 4. Now, how do teachers get promoted? It could be from natural vacancy, in which teachers need to wait for vacancy due to resignation, retirement, and death. Or it could be from risk reclassification, in which progression to higher position is based on credentials rather than competency. Now here are the qualification standards for each of the position. For Teacher 1 with salary grade 11, bachelor's degree in education or any bachelor's degree with at least 18 professional units in education. For training, it is non-required, experience non-required. Eligibility is RA 1080 for elementary and the secondary. Teacher 2 with salary grade 12, bachelor's degree in education or any bachelor's degree with at least 18 professional units in education. For training, 8 hours of training on any of or an aggregate of the following curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization within the last 3 years. And for experience, you should have 1 year teaching experience on a full-time basis, as well as RA 1080 eligible. Teacher 3 with salary grade 13, bachelor's degree in education or any bachelor's degree with at least 18 professional units in education. Same is true for Teacher 4 and 5. For training, for Teacher 3, you should have 8 hours of training on any of the curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization within the last 3 years. For Teacher 4, you should have 16 hours of training. For Teacher 5, 24 hours of training. And for experience, Teacher 3, you should have 2 years teaching experience on a full-time basis. For Teacher 4, 3 years teaching experience. Teacher 5, 3 years teaching experience on a full-time basis. And you should be RA 1080 eligible for both elementary and secondary. For Teacher 6 and Teacher 7 with salary grade 16 and 17 respectively, Education is bachelor's degree in education or any bachelor's degree with at least 18 professional units in education. For training, teacher 6 should have 24 hours of training on any of the following: curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization. And for teacher 7, 32 hours of training on any of the curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization within the last 3 years. For teaching experience, teacher 6, you should have 4 years teaching experience on a full-time basis. And for teacher 7, 4 years teaching experience on a full-time basis and with RA 1080 eligibility. For Master Teacher 1 with salary grade 18, you should have master's degree in education or educational leadership or educational management or relevant learning area, and you should have 24 hours of training on any of or an aggregate of the following: curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization, and 8 hours of training in instructional supervision within the last 5 years. You should have 5 years teaching experience on a full-time basis and RA 1080 eligibility for Master Teacher 1. For Master Teacher 2 with salary grade 19, master's degree in education or educational leadership or educational management or relevant learning area. The same is true with MT3 with salary grade 20. Nagkakaiba lang po sa training. For Master Teacher 2, 24 hours of training on any of curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization, and 8 hours of training in instructional supervision within the last 5 years. For Master Teacher 3, 24 hours of training on pedagogy, curriculum, and subject specialization, and 16 hours of training in instructional supervision within the last 5 years. For teaching experience, MT2 should have 1 year relevant experience in instructional supervision and technical assistance to teachers. MT3 should have 2 years relevant experience in instructional supervision and technical assistance to teachers. And MT2 and 3 should be RA 1080 eligible for both secondary and elementary. For MT4 and MT5 with salary grade 21 and 22 respectively, for education, the same is through master's degree in education or educational leadership or educational management or relevant learning area. Nagkakaiba lang po sa training. For MT4, 24 hours of training in curriculum, pedagogy, subject specialization, and 16 hours of training in instructional supervision within the last 5 years. And for MT5, 24 hours and 16 hours of training in instructional supervision within the last 5 years. Nagkakaiba lang po sa experience. For MT4, 3 years relevant experience in instructional supervision and technical assistance for teachers, while MT4 should have 4 years relevant experience in instructional supervision and technical assistance to teachers, and for both RA 1080 dapat eligible. Now for the selection process for teacher reclassification criteria. Education, higher education units, degrees that exceed the Q5 shall be given corresponding points that is equivalent to 10 points. NIAP accredited training. So NIAP recognized professional development credit units will be given 10 points. Experience, months or per years of experience that exceeds shall be given corresponding points that is equivalent to a maximum of 10 points. Performance, that is from your final IPCRF rating divided by 5 times 30, that is maximum of 30 points. COI assessment measured through classroom observation, that is equivalent to 25 points. And NCOI assessment, that is measured through your portfolio assessment, that will be 15 points. A total of 100 points.